Well, that dot came up faster than I was expecting it to. Hey,
We're
what's up?
rolling.
Oh, crap.
Oh God.
So
Started off.
we are
poorly.
not going to. We're not editing it out.
No.
We're not editing out. We're going for it. Welcome. You know why we're not. You know why we're not going to edit it out?
Why?
Because we have no standards.
We have no standards, which is our name.
We have a title. It's a good one. I like it.
I'm actually proud of this
Yes. We have no standards. Episode 4. We've made 4 of these.
1, 2, 3.
We've made
3,
4.
4. Yeah.
We made 4 of these episodes, which is about 4 more than I ever thought we would have done of any videos.
Maybe
to be
3.5.
honest. I mean, like, no, to be honest, because I was just thinking about how even in the first episode, I think we acknowledged this. The second episode, those of you who are, editing our Wikipedia bios and our fan pages can tell us the exact details from the episode.
The We Have No Standards wiki.
The We Have No Standards wiki.
Which definitely exists.
We have no wiki.
We have no wiki. Maybe that's... We Have No Wiki is when they want us to explain stuff in detail.
Ooh, I like that.
It's the spin-off of We Have No Standards.
We have no wiki.
Anyway.
We are doing great so far.
This is a superb start.
No, we were talking in one episode at some point about, how we always said we wanted to try things like make a video. And so what I say is like, this is 4 more than I was expecting, a lot of that stuff just kind of stays talk and then doesn't actually happen. So I'm glad that we've actually made something happen.
I mean, I will say, this is not a knock on anybody else that works at David County High School. I will say that you and I are typically better about following up, even if it doesn't go to the full, fruition.
Yes.
We still have something for most of our ideas.
I generally tend to agree, yeah.
Okay.
Because if it's not exactly what we want it to be, it'll be a version of it.
Right. Like a version. Do you know what that is?
Sorry.
No, it's not the Madonna song
no, but,
that you're probably thinking of.
No, but what's funny, like, I heard that you said version,
right.
But of course that's the first thing that...
Right.
Yeah.
It is an Australian radio thing where artists come in and cover a song in their own way. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's like a version of the song.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, what are we doing here today?
Well, you know what? I don't know. We didn't plan this out yet. We're doing something. We're doing something cool. We are going to be talking about things that are related to high school nostalgia, things of that sort.
Yeah, I think today is going to be kind of a blast from the past.
Yeah.
You had some stuff from your current high school experiences that some of you just gave to us. We didn't even really ask for it.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
We still love hearing from you. Especially because we don't get to talk to you every day.
No.
But I think a lot of you wanted to hear things about our high school experiences.
Or if nothing else, these are things that tend to come up at some point during the semester. But they come up naturally when you're interacting with people every day, which we're...
It's things that you have asked, or if you have us right now, probably will have asked.
Yes.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I'll just start it.
All right.
Right off the bat, here we go. Barker, I did not know you in high school.
No, you did not.
I did not know you even existed.
That is true. I did not know you existed.
I know. I did not know you in college.
Nope.
I did not know you existed.
Nope.
I honestly didn't even know you existed till I proctored one of your exams at Old Davy.
That is true. That is true.
Because they probably would have come over the intercom and be like, Mr. Barker, can you please call 4011? And I wouldn't have a face to put to a name.
No.
But you had an exam in my classroom, and I proctored it, and that's how I met you.
Which I never thought of as your classroom, but it was because it was E-Lab.
Right. I mean, it wasn't my classroom.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really have one.
Mm-hmm.
But it was as much mine as anybody else's because I taught college readiness in there. There was nowhere else for me to go.
Yeah, no, I remember that, but only because you have told me the story enough that I remember that happening. It's one of those weird things because that's not the first time I register meeting you.
And I don't know why that sticks out.
Yeah.
Like, you just have those weird memories where, like, they're just kind of pinned in there.
Kind
But you
of
have no idea why that one stuck and something
right.
else
That
didn't.
sticks, and then something else doesn't completely. It's kind of like if someone says good morning to you, and then you respond with happy birthday.
Yeah,
Right?
something like that.
That sticks out really well in some people's heads, and then not so much in others until you're just like, oh yeah, I guess that did happen.
So,
right?
jumping into it.
Yeah.
Here we go. Intro's done. They know what we're going to talk about. What were you, and I guess me, like in high school?
What was I like in high school?
What was 15 to 18-year-old M. Barker like?
People never believe me when I answer this question, honestly,
Why is that?
because my go-to answer is that I was like probably one of the shyest kids that you would know.
See, I would believe that because I know you outside of school.
Mm.
But if I only knew you in school,
Yeah.
I would see why people have a hard time believing that.
Like, I've told people that all the time. It's like, I was super shy, and I've had kids who just looked at me with that look of incredulity and just like, say what? Like, it's just in no way.
Incredulity.
Like, there's no way. There is no way that you were like shy and reserved and as a kid or in high school, but I totally was. I was.
Does that go back to the introversion thing from last episode?
It's very much the introversion
yeah.
thing. I remember I was so quiet that sometimes people would ask me what was wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
Did that ever happen to you?
It still happens to me.
That's true. No, I got that.
I'm almost 27 and it still happens to me.
No, I remember because people was like, why aren't you talking? I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I have nothing interesting to contribute to this conversation, or you're giving me nothing to work with. So I don't know you. Why am I going to talk? It's one of those weird things. So people would assume, because I didn't talk, that either I was like socially inept, which maybe I was a little bit.
Everyone in high school is some level of socially inept.
That's true.
Some people have just worked it out better than others.
That is also true. I was.
That's not an insult, by the way.
No.
You're just like 16.
Right. People either assumed I was socially inept or that I was so quiet, and because of that, I had to get straight A's.
The quiet kid is the smart one.
Yes.
That
was the assumption. People just looked, oh, well, you get straight A's, don't you? I'm like, I mean, no. Now, I have gotten straight A's at 2 separate times in my life, but like once was in 5th grade, and I don't even know how much that counts, and then once was in 9th grade.
Okay.
Which that one does. But I got straight A's twice in my life, and no other time, even in college. Like my English classes, my classes in my major, there were still times I pulled B's in those. I mean, I got A's in all my education classes, right? But English at the college level is tough, and I imagine that yours is significantly tougher than what I was going through, but it's a different kind of.
So, not to detract from your story,
Mm-hmm.
and something that I try to be very careful about, and for those of you that go to college for STEM stuff,
Mm-hmm.
do not become a STEM lord where you think that only STEM majors are the difficult or important ones, because that's really, really annoying because it's not true. Now, just because I don't particularly love parts of English doesn't mean there's not parts of English that I really like. Like, as we've talked about, I like the literature and the discussion and the analytical side of it, which makes sense, because I'm a science person.
Yes.
But I actually genuinely enjoyed and took English classes as part of my humanities for that stuff. Now, I didn't care about the composition or the why did Keats choose this word instead of that? I don't care. I mean, I care on like a micro scale, but I'm not going to spend a whole semester, with diction and syntax and verbiage and I don't. That doesn't say that's not important.
Yeah,
I just don't care. But at the same time, I liked Calc 2, Calc 3 differential equations and material science and the physics and geophysics and geochemistry, which he feels the same way about that I do about English. Don't be that person.
Right. No, that's good. And to build off that, heavily respect all that stuff, find it incredibly fascinating, couldn't do it, don't want to do it. Right. But you mentioned diction and syntax and all that stuff, and I'm kind of like, yeah, who would find that interesting.
I see why it's interesting.
It's really
It's
cool.
like a math equation.
It is 100%. Like, that's one thing I like to tell, especially those of you who are STEM people who are watching this. I mean, if you are of a mathematical and scientific mind, I mean, there's stuff in English that caters directly to you. I mean, in terms of the syntax and breaking down of structures, because grammar is I don't want to call grammar a science in this way that we call, like, poli-sci a science. I know that gets on you a little bit.
Don't get me started.
But there's a form and a function and a meter and a structure to just the way that language is written, and it goes. You can break it down to its most structural levels, and like, this clause must go with this clause because this thing and these have to link them together. But it's obviously so much more than that. It's more an art than that, but it has that component.
I'm going to pull out some literary terms for you. You can even mathematically think about meter. Shakespeare, the most famous one of iambic pentameter. Or, if you're a fan of Edgar Allan Poe, the trochees that he writes in are the threes or couplets. Or, like, there's math all over the place, even though you're not necessarily recognizing it.
And you can hear that rhythm, too. Once upon a midnight jury, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napped, suddenly there came a tapping as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. 'Tis a visitor, I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more.
Boom. If we had a mic, he could drop it. I don't want him to push that off.
No, let's not do that. I wasn't expecting to do that.
Well, there you go. So what?
See, this is the kind of stuff that I would never have done in high school, right? It took me taking theater and joining the cross country team to get me to be this version of me right now. I would say so.
Would you say that you are like a version of yourself?
Shut up. All right. What were you like in high school?
You want to know what I was like?
I very much do.
Do you think they want to know what I was like?
Maybe not, but I don't care.
I don't know. All right. So what was I like? Well, okay. I'm going to do mine a little bit differently than yours.
Okay. Well, mine started rambling anyway, and we're at a great start at making this a short episode.
And I didn't not like the way you did yours.
No, you're
but
good.
I'm a science person. I'm STEM. So I'm going to break it down and not break it down the way you just did.
Okay.
But I'm going to break it down into each year.
Okay.
And
fair
kind
enough.
of tell you what I was like each year of high
Fair
school.
enough.
All right. Before I get into any of this, I just, this will have a pro-me bias. Some of you get that.
So there'll be a few that get that.
And maybe some other of you will get that soon.
I hope so.
Me too.
I hope so. I can't. That's another discussion.
So, freshman year. Keep in mind, I'm young for my grade.
Me too.
Or was,
Yeah.
I guess. Cause
yeah, for the grade we're in right now, we're both real young for our grade.
33rd grade.
Jeez. Yeah.
So keep in mind, whatever age you think of at that, I was a year behind that.
Same. So retroactively.
Most of you were 15 to 18 in high school. I was 14 to 17.
Same.
So
Sweet.
we're going to have probably similar-ish experiences due to that. Freshman year, quiet, reserved. That shouldn't surprise you if you know me, though, like your students, it might surprise you if this is all you know. This version of me is not the real me, as we've discussed.
Yes.
I was always on honors and AP track. I imagine you were much the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to kind of keep in mind there was no Ellis at this time. So it was just north and it was just south. There wasn't the third school. So we kind of only came from two schools, but we didn't have any social media like you have. So unless you happen to play sports or something with somebody from North Davie, because I went to South, you didn't really know a lot of those people.
That's true.
But I was in band and I was in tennis. I did that all 4 years. And that was a great way to meet upperclassmen, to kind of, for better or worse, to learn how high school worked. And they really helped open my personality up. Because a lot of them were just big personalities that just would do the dumbest things. And I would just kind of be there like, oh no, am I a part of this? I'm a part of this.
Band has just not changed at all. Really.
Band will never change.
Band will never change. Like, I wasn't even in band in high school, but I get it. Like, well, some of the best students we've had, honestly, have been like crossovers and bands. So I feel like I know the band. Well, I played with the band.
That's true, you did.
That's true.
band is something else.
Yes. Well, anyway.
In mostly positive ways.
Yeah, okay.
And this has nothing to do with Jemison. I did not have Jemison. So this has nothing to do with him. He's great. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I really like him. I think he's a fantastic band director.
Yeah, he's really cool.
He was there after I was.
Mm-hmm.
So I could tell you tons and tons of stories. Quite a few of them I couldn't tell them. At least not yet. But there was this one kid. He was a year older than me. He was a sophomore when I was a freshman. And he was old for his grade. So there's quite a chunk of difference. When I was 14, he was turning 16, basically. So there is quite a bit of, at that age, maturity jumps. So you would think. But he was on drumline with me.
Mm-hmm.
And we were friends, I guess. Like, we hung out with each other and we did stuff, drumline-wise, and we played sports and stuff together. But we got into fights. Not like physical fights, but arguments. All the time. Like, I swear, every other day was us getting on each other's nerves about something. Hey, Tommy. Yeah, I'm still friends with him 20 years
later. Yeah, I was
later.
just thinking, like, and I haven't even met Tommy yet, but I feel like I already know.
Yeah, no, he's one of my closest friends.
Mm-hmm.
When you've been friends with someone for 20 years and you're 30, that's 66% of your life that you've, have been in contact with another person. And it's cool, but it's also weird when you go to say something and they're like, oh yeah, you'd probably want to do that. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, I was in his wedding, and that was awesome. And he was in my wedding. What?
Oh, nothing. I too remember that wedding. It was a good wedding. To which of your wives was that wedding?
3.
Oh,
that was number 3.
Wife number 3?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I have 5.
I know you have 5.
Yeah, I don't know if they knew that, but I have 5. Anyway, I don't have 5 wives.
No, he does.
Sophomore year. Sophomore year was just kind of there. Like, I don't really remember sophomore year being good or bad, honestly. It was just,
The only reason my sophomore year stands out is because I transferred to another school.
Oh, because Reagan opened.
Because Reagan got built that year.
And you were at Tabor,
mm-hmm.
and they kind of pull people from Reynolds, Reagan.
Yeah.
I mean, Reynolds, Tabor, and West?
North as well. Actually, a lot of places got pulled from to go to Reagan. Because I know that I had some friends who went to West and then got pulled from that. Like, actually, the neighborhood that I live in right now would have probably been like a West neighborhood until Reagan got built.
And that was your sophomore year?
Mm-hmm.
So that was my senior year.
Yep.
So Reagan didn't even open until I was a senior.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Because we never played you guys in anything. Because you were a pretty small school at that point.
No, we were 3A.
Right.
Yeah, I remember the only time... no, shoot, there was nothing Davie. Yeah, nothing at all.
We were a big 4A at the time.
I wasn't aware that Davie High School existed.
Like, you were one county over.
I know.
You did play sports, though. The school, I mean.
I ran cross country.
Later.
Sophomore through senior year, I did run cross country, but because we were 3A, we never ran against even Davie. Like, we ran against Southwest Guilford.
But you went to Tabor.
But I didn't do anything in 9th grade.
So that's what it was.
That's what it was.
Okay.
When I was in 9th grade, I didn't. And see,
because you were in our conference.
And see, that contributed to me also having that, like, super shy aspect. That's why I say when I ran cross country, like when you do in band, like band got you to know a lot of upperclassmen and people with big personalities. Cross country did the same thing. Cross country plus theater equals all of a sudden I get a little bit more social.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The only thing I really remember from sophomore year is we were in a bio lab. It was Mrs. White's room. It wasn't her. She wasn't there yet. It was Mrs. Tucker. She left after my class to go teach at West. I had a friend. He ate part of the bio lab. Don't do that. Just don't ever eat anything in a science lab. I told him not to. He did it anyway. So, yeah.
That's like, I mean, that's lab safety.
That's
Like,
really
I
like
mean,
that is like day one of.
I
my
know. I
class.
remember we
Don't
had to.
eat things.
Right, we had to. No, my chemistry teacher at Reagan had a whole thing on lab safety because you had to do that before you could do anything chem. Like that was the first thing you had
Right.
to get through. And I remember in the instructions he was talking about what to do if you ingest something. And it was like what to do if you ingest poison. He said, you know, come and tell me, and then go and sit over in the corner and hit yourself in the head because you were a moron. Was actually written in the instructions. Like, why
That's a
would
good
you?
instruction.
Why would you do that? That's about one. That is one of the only things I remember from my chemistry class. Actually,
Way to go.
I don't know what that says about the teacher, but
So junior year,
Mhm.
one of the hardest years academically.
yes.
That's still true.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to be a junior next year, buckle up. If you are a junior, you're almost through.
Yes.
The football team was crazy good that year. I've talked about that in a Genius Hour video.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't on the football team because I didn't want to die. But I was in band, so we went to all the games. So I was
Yeah.
there for all of that
That had
stuff.
to be fun.
It really was because
Yeah.
of your friends. Like
Mhm.
your friends are what make high school.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Homecoming that year was pretty cool. My first 2 years, I bought a homecoming shirt and we lost. My last 2 years, I didn't buy one and we won.
Well, there
So
you
it
go.
was my fault. I'm sorry. But cool, fun fact, random factoid. Actually, not a factoid. Factoid is something people think is true, and it's not. It's not a factoid. It's an actual fact. One of my friends, Holly, is one of the pictures that's up near the front office. She's the one that's hanging from the beam. It was between C building and E building. It said like
Oh.
homecoming 04.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she was one of my friends.
I'll have to look at that if we ever go back on campus.
Crappy part of that year though, I sprained my ankle during tennis season like 2 weeks in. So I played like 4 matches all year. That wasn't fun. Only year didn't get all conference. I was pretty upset about that. But at
Yeah.
least I went 3 for 3 on the years I could go. The least cool moment, and I'm going to be serious here for a second. You've already read it,
Mhm.
and I've talked to you about it in the past.
Yeah.
Not joking this time.
Yeah.
This is actually a completely serious moment, but it's one I've talked about to some of you, and it's a moment that I think you need to hear multiple times.
Mhm.
Probably the worst moment of my entire high school career, and honestly up till like end of college.
Yeah.
I had a friend, his name was Jim. Notice the tense. He and his dad had just bought a brand new, well, not new, fairly new at the time, Camaro.
Mm-hmm.
And he took one of his friends home after school, and it was literally maybe 2-mile drive. And he decided to make a really bad and stupid decision and tried to drive faster than he had the ability to and faster than the road allowed. He lost control, went off, and pretty much went top first into a tree. Yeah. So I wasn't aware of this at the time. It was on a Friday afternoon. I remember walking into the band room, and all anybody had heard was a black Camaro had crashed. That's what I drove. So everyone thought I was the one that had crashed. So when I walked in, it was like everyone had seen a ghost. And I didn't know what was going on. No one, because remember, no real texting is barely a thing at this point.
That's true. Yeah.
So later on at the football game, we learn who it was. And so that, I don't even remember who he played. It was Halloween. I remember when it was.
Yeah.
I don't know who we played. Probably North Davidson, if it's Halloween. 2 days later, he never wakes up and he dies. Here's something I want you to take away, and I'm going to address this to the guys because that's typically who this is for. But this is true for all of you, and including us when we were your age.
Yeah.
You might feel like you are invincible. You are not. We all have our time. You might think that you are an excellent driver. You are not. Maybe one day you will become one, but at 16, you are not an excellent driver. Even if you are doing everything correct, as my friend did not, there are other people on the road who are not excellent drivers. Please, please, please Make good decisions. Think about the consequences that could happen from your actions and pick accordingly. And I don't mean to like just kill the mood here, but there are too many high schoolers that we have lost both when we were in high school and as teachers that have just made stupid decisions that could have been 100% avoided.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not illnesses and that's not unfortunate accidents, and that is just 100% bad decisions. You can fix those.
Yeah, unfortunately, that hasn't happened to me with people that I've really known well. But we all have those stories.
Right.
I remember it happening at Wake. I remember it happening at Reagan with kids that I knew while I was there or ones after I left. And there's like one situation I can think of where it was completely out of the person's hands. Black ice. You can, but at the same time, it just...
Last thing, this shouldn't deal with any of you at any time soon. It better not.
Mm-hmm.
Do not ever, under any circumstance, drive while intoxicated. Under any variety of whatever you want intoxicated to mean. It is a terrible decision, and you might kill someone else who had nothing to do about it.
That's the real lesson to take from that too, because doesn't seem like in almost every single situation, not every single, but most of them, when a person is driving under some kind of influence, usually they end up bouncing back just fine.
Because they're not aware, so their body kind of just ragdolls and takes all the whatever, but you're tensing up because a car is coming at you at 60 miles an hour head on.
I'm thinking about a teacher
Yes.
a few years
Just
ago.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
It is such an easy thing to not do.
Yes. Well, especially now.
And hopefully
Yeah.
that's not even a thing that you should have to deal with right now in high school or in college. But when you turn of legal age, don't call a friend. I'm sure that you have friends that will, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you have to drag them out of bed, I'm sure that in the long run, they will be happy. And I know that I've done this when I was in college to get out of bed to come get you than to have you do something stupid. It is worth it in the long run, even if you make your friend mad in the short term.
Dang right.
Please listen to that. Now, I'm going to try to rebound from that as best I can because that was a terrible time.
Yeah.
But my best time in high school was my senior year, kind of like the whole bit of senior year. It was weird. Just like everything went my way. Like everything was coming up Millhouse. First off, being a senior is kind of great in general. Yeah. Maybe not for the seniors right now.
Maybe not right this second. Although I did get even a couple seniors to answer some things that are going on well with them. We'll talk about that later. Yeah.
You're a senior. That's cool. You're almost done with school, and then you get to go to college. If that's the choice you want to make, or you get to go work or be in the military or whatever your next steps are. That's cool. I was lucky because I was section leader in band for marching band and symphonic. And before you band nerds get on me, we didn't have wind ensemble. It was the highest thing, like the highest level of band that you could join.
That was the first thing I thought of when you told me symphonic band, but I know what you mean.
I was a record setter on the tennis team for a while. It was eventually broken by a person that I coached, and I was glad to see her break that.
Sweet.
I don't know if she was the first one to do it, but she currently holds the record.
That's cool.
Hey, Laura.
I figured it was Laura.
I also, at the time, had a pretty awesome girlfriend, who we will not name for embarrassment of having dated me. So, sorry. She's not watching this. Because that was in high school, and that was a long time ago.
Senior year, it's just funny, like, as you described your senior year, it sounds very similar to mine. Like, the exact same kind of experience. I didn't set any records on anything when I was a senior, but I did set personal bests far as, like, running is concerned. Those are my fastest 5Ks when I was a senior. Our cross-country team, men's team, was third in the state.
That's awesome.
And we had not placed at all before that. So that was the best we had been ever, which was pretty dang cool. I had a girl that was dating at the time, and that was cool. But obviously, she's definitely not watching this either. I referenced her a couple times. That's the one who I said like, "Hey, you want to come over and play Guitar Hero?"
Oh God.
Yeah, it was. That girl.
Yeah. So actually, my tennis team won the conference for the first time in 30 years.
That's cool.
My senior year was the team that broke the record, and we kind of restarted that. I know the men's team still does well, but we were the first one in 30 years to win the conference. We were, I think, ended this season ranked number 12 in North Carolina. I'll take it. 12 out of like 140.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think we had a pretty good season. I got accepted into Appalachian, which is one of the 2 schools that I was thinking about going to, so I'm glad I got into there. And then as a senior, I was able to interact with the freshmen and started the circle of life all over again. That was terrible on purpose because I did not take chorus. But yeah, so that's kind of us in high school.
Yeah. I was not even expecting us to have that much just off of us in high school. And like you went into even more detail than I did, but I know that you're still skimming the surface and I was skimming the surface.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was talking for that long.
No.
So that might be a whole separate video.
No,
maybe we'll just release that separately.
Dude, I had that's like 17 minutes.
I know.
Just you talking about high school. Well, we were in there too. I was in there too.
But part of it was like 4 or 5 minutes on
serious stuff.
Don't drink and drive.
Oh, for sure.
Which
for sure.
needs to be said.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But that was us. We'll probably, I don't know how much of that I'm going to leave in there. So if you're watching this and it's not 17 minutes, it's because I edited it.
Yeah, that's fair. But you know what? That's cool. I like doing the nostalgia trip every now and then.
Yeah. I just want to make a habit of it.
No.
So there you go. That's after this episode, it's probably not nostalgia based for quite some time.
Right. No, which is good. But what I like about that is because in times like we're dealing with right now where things seem like they could be pretty crappy if we let them be, it's nice to think about things that were going well for us at times, also places where we struggled, which is one reason why I actually posted on my Instagram earlier this week a question just to people and said, hey, what's something cool that's going on in your life right now? And got some cool responses from that, which maybe we can talk about in just a minute.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to us reminisce. So, you said something about questions from Instagram, or a question, or a variety of questions. I'm not quite sure where we landed on that.
Yeah, so by questions from Instagram, I mean question from Instagram.
And by that you mean...
I asked the question.
You're making it up?
I'm not making it up.
This is an actual question.
I actually asked a question. And it wasn't even originally for the podcast.
Huh.
It was just, I was curious.
You're so caring.
Well, I was thinking about us all needing a little bit of positivity. So it was like earlier in the week or something like that.
Right. Okay.
And I said, I just put out a thing. I'd never done the Instagram story thing before as far as like asking for responses. I know I'd seen you do like 1 or 2 of them, or no, because you do the ones when we're actually asking for stuff.
Yeah, sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've never done that. But I honestly don't use my story much.
I really never use my story.
Well, I've gotten into this thing where like I'll cross post whatever you post.
Right.
On my story, so that it's in a couple different places.
So
I'm using Reddit terms, cross posting.
Here's how this actually happens. I'll get an update, and it's like blah 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 blah, and Oh Hi Bark have recently added to their stories. I'm like, oh, that's a thing you can do on Instagram.
Yes. But
anyway,
I decided to ask a question. I asked, what's something cool going on in your life right now? And I figure, even though we hadn't planned this, we could also answer it too.
Sure.
Because, yeah.
Let's let them go first, though.
I'll let them go first. Right. So I asked what's something cool going on in your life right now, and I got a lot of the same kinds of answers, which is in and of itself pretty cool from a variety of students. Okay. So one of the first ones that came in was from Lauren. Hey, Lauren. Said, I finally got KK Slider to perform on my island, and I went ahead and told her this, and I'll say it again. I'm so impressed right now because that is hard to do.
Very good.
If you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is Animal Crossing New Horizons.
I knew that.
Totally knew that. I see you on there all the time when you're playing. Yeah.
I literally cannot stop playing.
Yeah.
What was it called again?
Oh, yeah. Animal.
Animal Crossing. That's the game I can't stop playing.
Absolutely right. Yeah. What do you think about like the mass genocide thing they put in there? That was kind of dark.
It was dark.
Yeah.
I really was surprised that Nintendo of all companies would go down that path.
I was too. I can't believe they totally did that in Animal Crossing New Horizons.
It was really, there was a lesson to be learned.
Absolutely.
That I didn't think Nintendo was going to teach.
The Great Tarantula.
It was.
Great Tarantula Genocide.
It like at first you kind of start out with this sympathetic feeling because it's, you know, the whole spider kingdom is being looked down upon because they're spiders. And, you know, no one likes spiders. And then they get this resentful, like, animosity towards the other kingdoms. It's kind of like when the Fire Nation attacked, the Tarantula Nation attacked, and it went off the rails quickly. And
much like this conversation. In all seriousness, though, Lauren, that was so impressive. She actually did give me some suggestions. I mentioned the tarantula thing for a reason because, fun fact.
Okay.
Fun fact, in Animal Crossing, apparently if you sell tarantulas at the store, like at
Ranchos.
At Nook's Cranny, which is the name
Nice.
of the store, you can get like the equivalent of like $8,000 per tarantula.
Oh,
which is like, yeah. So she showed me a way to
be right back.
set up an island where you could get like all tarantulas all the time, basically, and like make it a lot easier to catch them and farm them. You're exploiting spawn rates and stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
Lauren, you would do that.
That's the most I've nerded out on that stuff for a while. I still haven't had KK Slider in my island because on the game you have to get your island rating up to like 5 stars. Not
is this kind of like Roller Coaster Tycoon?
I guess so. Yeah,
Okay.
which I actually never played, but I understand enough of the premise.
It's a great game. I
So
love Roller Coaster
I've
Tycoon.
heard.
Anyway.
But that wasn't just Lauren. That was Faith, and Isaiah have all been playing Animal Crossing and doing that kind of stuff and gotten a lot farther than I have, which is impressive to me because I've already put 50 hours into this game apparently. Like it's my second most played game on my Switch so far. Number 1 is
Zelda.
Oh yeah, how many hours?
195.
Ooh, is that yours?
No, I thought I remembered that from your profile.
175.
Dang.
Yeah.
It was a 1-something-5 because I looked at it the other day
when
I was playing Smash. Oh, by the way, Switch. I got the free trial of online to look at some of the old NES and SNES games. I wish they put some bigger titles on there. So Nintendo of America, if you're listening, put some other titles on there, please.
The Super Nintendo one's better.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Because that's got Super Mario World on it and some other like actually pretty legit games.
I wish they had some better NES games.
Well, I wish they would just put the Virtual Console on the Switch. They
I
had it on the
my
Wii.
actual real console.
What?
Maybe we can play some of those old games.
Oh, that'd be cool. I don't know how we pull off like the capturing of all that stuff.
I got a plan.
Do that. Oh,
I don't know if it's gonna work, but I got a plan.
Ooh, okay.
Anyway,
let's get back to that.
Let's get back to this.
So yeah, and Sam and Reagan also mentioned they've been playing some more video games. I know Reagan mentioned Minecraft, and I want to say the new Star Wars game. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there are some.
I haven't talked to Reagan in a while, other than us being sad about not seeing each other.
Yeah. Sebastian, who I don't teach, but I think maybe I guess you had him.
I did.
Yep. His thing that was going on is cool in his life. Is actually said he's getting into Star Wars kind of.
That's cool.
Which is interesting. Has only watched one movie as of the last time I asked him about it, but that one movie is a good one. You watched A New Hope, and as you saw from 2 episodes ago, that is both of ours. That's our second favorite.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember where
Empire at the top.
Empire at the top.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched Empire yet, you're in for a treat. It's a good one.
Speaking of,
go ahead.
Animal Crossing.
Oh, yeah.
These are not giant tarantulas that took over, but some people did get new pets.
Yeah, Adam, you said you got a new dog, and Haley got a new dog. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
We're probably going to get a new dog at some point, too. I specify by we. I do not mean we. That would be really weird to coordinate, and I don't know why we would do that.
I have no pets.
No, Meredith and I are thinking about that. You know, we've got a cat who has surprisingly never come down here during any filming.
That is surprising.
She never comes down when I'm doing like video conferencing either. And people,
I think it's the noise.
It must be, but a lot of people, like when we're doing these video calls, will say like, "Oh, and here's my dog, and here's my cat, and one person, here's my ferret." I'm like, okay, but I never get to show off Zoe.
I'm going to just like take one of your bobbleheads and then just be like, here's mine, and just
Good.
see the reaction I get.
If I get to go back to the high school, that's one thing I need to grab is some of the bobbleheads.
I
off of-
was just
I know.
there.
I know. I didn't think about it until you mentioned bobbleheads, but we can actually change this setup a little bit.
Anyway, getting near the end of this episode, end it with some academic talk.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and so that's two things. So Jackson and Rachel both actually told me things that they weren't even necessarily saying it for Genius Hour, but they're working on Genius Hour projects, and we are too. Jackson says sometimes I have time to fire up my forge,
Which is awesome.
which is awesome. Like I
want
said,
to check that out.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
Like once we're allowed to, be back near each other.
Right. And like sometime with the forge is better than no time with the
Exactly.
forge. Like I have no experience with that. I
Nope.
think that's really cool. And then Rachel was talking about how she's been playing ukulele,
That's awesome.
which is really
you go,
cool.
Rachel.
But both of us are biased towards music anyway. So
Definitely.
it's like,
Maybe we could do a whole episode talking about like music and movies and the arts.
yeah, honestly, I think that was what we were going to do with this one, but we just went off.
Maybe that'll be the next one.
Maybe so. Maybe. I don't know. It's not like we really planned these things that far in advance.
Maybe we're gonna like record it in 20 minutes.
Maybe so.
I don't know. You have anything else? Any other good answers from those questions?
Well, I guess we just need to answer them now. What's something cool going on in your life right now?
Come back to me.
Come back to me.
No, what's going on that's cool in my life right now? It's not cool in the sense of like, that's super cool. Stuff has happened.
Mhm.
But recently, it's a discussion that we've had, and I've had with some other teachers, and not just teachers at Davie. Something cool is I've kind of recognized what I like about teaching.
Mm.
And, I kind of answered this, I don't know, episodes ago.
Yeah.
Look up on the wiki.
We have no wiki.
We have no wiki. But this is kind of really emphasized that I could never be just a teacher. Like and there's nothing wrong with that. I couldn't do it. I need my clubs. I need my sports. I need my Warrego Motorsports. I need the classroom. I can't just do one thing. And I know it stresses me out and it runs me down. And sometimes you guys see me in the hallway and you're like, how are you still alive? And I don't know. But I think it's cool that I just really had that kind of revelation the last week or so that I have to have other stuff going on.
I get that. And, and I kind of agree with that too, because even though it's been kind of nice to get up when I want to, although I still get up at like 7 anyway, or 6:30, even though it's been nice to do that and to kind of work from home and during the week focus mostly on just grading stuff that I assigned, which has made it a little bit less stressful overall. Like I can actually have a Saturday and not really work, although I still work on Sundays just because.
We still work 6 days a week.
We still basically do. It has been cool to be able to, go and say hey to Meredith after I get off like a meeting or something.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It's been cool to be able to do that, but I do miss being in the room interacting with people.
I stopped listening. No, and the interaction is... I'm an introvert. You're an introvert. Mm-hmm. I really do miss working with you guys. Yeah. Like, there are some times when we're at school, and especially when there's long slogs of, 45 days with no breaks, I'm like, just leave my room and don't come back for a while. But it's just because I need a break to recharge. Yes. It's not because I don't like working with you. Same. I just need some time to not have 70 to 90 to 110 of you at the same time. Agreed. I just need a little bit of a time. A little bit of a break, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah, for sure. So you know what? Some positivity. Get that out there. Yeah. Shorter episode too. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that too. What are we calling this one? Because I forgot. Did we talk about it? I don't know if we said it. I say every time that we're going to try to plan this out beforehand, but it's more fun if it's spontaneous. What are we calling this one? Whatever you say goes. Episode 4. Remembering high school. Oh. What? No, that'll work. That'll work. We can make it cool with the next episode. I got an idea.
I'm gonna remember next time. I know what we're
No,
gonna
you're
do.
not.
I know we're gonna do.
No, you're not. Whatever. Anyway, shorter episode. Hope you liked it. Next one is going to be music and art and movies and stuff like that.
That's
so if you're
right.
interested in that, check it out.
Sweet. Yeah.
Anyway, talk to you later.
Like and subscribe.
Oh my god.
Peace.